Hello guys, I hope wherever you're watching us from, you're having a great time. This is AfriPost and welcome to today's video. Now, as an African, one of my holiday destinations that I would want to visit is Europe, and I would want to really have an experience of the culture that these people have. But then I was moving through internet and looking at the best holiday destinations that I would visit. And I thought that Italy would be a good holiday destination. But then when I look at the comment and reactions that black people like me who visited these regions were trying to show or trying to portray outside there, I got a little bit shocked, and I thought that maybe I should now not go for this vacation. I should just find a place in Africa and settle myself and have some peace of mind as I wait to see how things will go around. Now, in this video, I want us to watch some of the reactions that people who have visited Italy have kind of said, because there is this notion that Italy is very racist to blacks and it does not tolerate black people. I want us to watch these videos and then let's react to it after the video.
Did you see the video where that creator said he was shoved out of an elevator in Italy, but when they all found out he was American, they were like, this is not Italia, this is not Italia. That is very much Italia. That is Italy with its whole chest. I am so anti-Italy that if I was given an all-expenses-paid trip to the Amalfi Coast, Rome, wherever, I'm not going. Like I said in that video, thank you for the Renaissance, thank you for Nutella, Gucci, Prada, the other brands I can't afford. Let me tell you one thing. Give me all that, toss the rest of the country in the ocean. I spent 3 months in Italy in 2013, and then I went back in 2018 for a short while. And let me tell you, even after growing up in the southern United States, I have never experienced the overt disrespect and racism that I experienced in Italy. I'm talking assault. I'm talking people avoiding me in the street. I'm talking people acting like I was there to rob them because I'm asking for directions. Stares of disgust, all-out rudeness, just microaggressions worse than I have experienced in America. I wrote all about this in 2018, so you can go ahead and check out my story on the New York Times. And to this day, people still message me to say that they've experienced the same things and they're happy to find out that they weren't alone. I actually met a couple nice people there, and one of my closest friends I met while I was studying abroad. The rest of that country, though, no. And if you don't believe me, just Google race relations in Italy. There is one country you cannot pay me to visit again, and it has the worst culture of racism that I have ever experienced in my time abroad. I'm reviewing popular tourist destinations based on things to do and what it's like for black people and people of color. My first time traveling to Italy was through the NYU Study Abroad program. And when I made this decision, the only thing on my mind was the pizza, the Vespas, the romance, basically the Lizzie McGuire movie, because this is what they showed us on TV. But one thing I didn't realize at the time was that all of these examples of this romanticized image of Italy was told through the lens of white people. You mean the same country Lizzie McGuire was falling in love with is the same country where they were throwing bananas at their first black minister? Sure is. Oh, but Nicole, that's just a political thing. That doesn't really happen to people. She had bananas thrown at her. I had beer thrown at me. And then I was called a disgusting black woman by this man right here. Well, obviously you did something. He was unsuccessfully flirting with some white girls in our group, and when he got upset, he started hurling insults at them. Then a black woman went up and was like, hey, don't talk to women that way, and everyone on the beach just stood there as he manhandled her. So when I went up to defend her, punched him in his arm so he would let her go, he threw beer on us and called us disgusting black women, even though we had nothing to do with why he was rejected. And I have traveled all up and down that country, and it's not even an isolated incident. Their feelings of disgust are palpable. I've been dramatically avoided on the street, looked down upon as if I'm begging for money instead of asking for directions, ignored by whole adults to the point where I've had to ask children for directions, because adults wouldn't even bother to look my way. And yes, io parlo italiano. Italy's got good food and interesting history, and yes, some black people go and they just love it. It's great for people who are interested in the arts and beautiful architecture. But based on my own far too common experience, Italy gets a 1 out of 10 for me. If you're interested in learning more about my personal experience in Italy, you can read about it here in the New York Times.
I want to talk about where not to travel if you are a dark-skinned black person. Hi, my name is Monique, and I've traveled to roughly 30 countries, most of them solo. The country that treated me the worst as a dark-skinned black woman is Italy. In 2018, I decided that I wanted to take a trip over to Europe and visit a couple of countries while I was there. So on this trip, I visited Italy as well as Greece. I spent 4 days in Italy and 4 days in Greece. From the moment that I landed in the Rome International Airport, I was treated poorly. As I always do, I booked my transportation to get from the airport to my hostel before landing in Italy. So when I got there, all I had to do was find the company that was supposed to be transporting me, and then they would help me do the rest. Ciao, when I got to the kiosk of the company that I had already previously booked, those people would not even talk to me. The woman told me, wait over there, wait for my colleague to get back. But meanwhile, there were other people, palm-colored people, that were using the same transportation company, and they were helped immediately. The issue was not that they didn't speak any English, it's that they didn't want to talk to me. I heard them speaking English to the other American people that. Now, this is my first time in Italy, so I kind of brushed off the airport experience, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to let that ruin my experience. I'm just going to keep pushing forward. I get transported to my hostel. The hostel that I was staying in was very diverse, so I did feel really safe there. Now I chose this hostel because it was right next door to a market/grocery store, so I knew that I could get snacks and things like that for my room. I get checked into my hostel, and then I go right next door to the market. Y'all, I have never in my life been followed around a grocery store the way I was in Rome. It was this man's sole job to follow me aisle to aisle to watch me to make sure that I didn't steal something. Now, this market, it was small, but there were at least 25 people in there doing the same thing I was doing. But because I was the only black person in there at that time, I was being watched. There was even one time that I was trying to look at the ingredients of something by using my Google Translate app. If you guys don't know, the app not only translates the languages verbally, but if you put it up to a picture that has a different language and you wanted to translate it to English, it will do that as well. So I was trying to do that, and then the man, he comes over, no photo, no photo. And I'm trying to explain to him that I wasn't taking a photo. I was trying to see the ingredients, but he got so aggressive with me that I damn near just I didn't even want whatever I was looking at anymore. I checked out with the couple of items that I had, and I went on about my business. On the day that I visited Florence and Pisa, Italy, which is what you're looking at in the photo, I was in Florence, Italy here. I was on this tour with a white woman and her teenage son. They were from Texas. It was just the three of us on this full-day tour. Things were so bad that she even noticed how poorly they were treating me. And she was like, you know what? You're sticking with us for the day. Wherever, we go, you're just going to come with us because I see the way that they're treating you and it's not right. For a white woman to see and witness how poorly I was being treated, that should speak volumes. While on this tour, I was trying to buy a shirt for my son from a street vendor while we were in Florence, Italy, when we made a stop. The man wouldn't even sell me a t-shirt. He was so busy trying to service other people, and I have the money in hand. I'm not even asking any questions. All I wanted to make sure was the sizing was appropriate, and I was going to just pay him for the shirt. He didn't even want to service me. After my second day in Rome, I wanted to switch my flight and leave and get up out of there because the way I was treated was just so blatantly disrespectful that I didn't even want to spend the next 2 days there. The day I visited the Colosseum, I took the train from my hostel to get to the Colosseum. That was another reason I chose that hostel, was because it was in a central area and I could take the train. When I got off the train and I was trying to find out where to meet my tour group, this man, I met him, he helped me to find out where I needed to go, but he also told me that Africans are treated so bad in Italy. Now, I know and understand that not everyone's experience will be like this, and I'm pretty sure that there are other dark-skinned women who had a different experience from me. But for what I'm saying, just be cautious, be aware that this could potentially happen to you if you do visit Rome, and yeah, just keep that in mind.
The way that y'all non-African American black people let these white people talk to y'all and treat y'all when y'all go places needs to be studied. I cannot tell y'all how many videos I've got on this app and saw from non-African American black creators that have gone to Italy and told everybody about their experience. And it's all been the same. Y'all, that girl in that video said that she waited for 2 fucking hours to get her food. Multiple people had done came in after them, done ate, and done left by now. She's steady asking the server, when's the food coming, when's the food coming, and he's giving her the runaround. The way that I would have went to every server, hostess, manager, and chef in the back asking for my fucking food, they would have probably kicked me out. And then to add insult to injury, she ordered 2 portions and then they only brought out 1 fucking bowl. Thank God she had the balls to just get up and fucking leave, because there's no way in hell I would have paid for that shit. But I would have definitely had to let them have it before I left. Which takes me to my next point. And I'm making this distinction between African Americans and non-African American black people, because there was this American man who was in Italy, and he was telling a story about how he was about to get in the elevator. It was 2 white girls and another white dude or some other people in there. He said as soon as the door opened, he tried to get in. This bitch stiff arms him. First of all, bitch, keep your hands to yourself. And second, so he did what any black American would do. He pushed this bitch's hand out the way and got on the fucking elevator. And when he got on the elevator, he proceeded to cuss her out for everything that she was fucking worth. So as soon as this man takes his breath after letting this bitch fucking have it, everybody else in the elevator is like, oh no, she's not Italia. Italia's not racist. Italia's not racist. Even the bitch, she started apologizing like, oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. No. Y'all knew what the fuck y'all was doing. And the only reason that y'all are trying to flip the script right now is because y'all heard that American accent. And then the light went off in their head like, oh shit, we done fucked up. Because I'm pretty sure the face of the earth knows that African Americans are not going to take shit from no white person. Whether you be Belgian, French, wherever the fuck you from, Italy, it doesn't matter. African Americans specifically are not going to take shit from no white person. Which is crazy because it's like they're breaking down racism even more. How are y'all okay with one set of black people but not the other set? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Moral of the story is, y'all non-African American black creators that are planning on going to Italy, you got two options. Number one, don't take your black ass over there. And number two, if you decide to go over there, I need you to channel your inner African American. And I know some of y'all might not have none of that, but you need to go get it. You need to go find it. You need to go create it or something. As soon as you get off that plane and they ask you where you from, you need to say Memphis, Tennessee, the Bronx, New York, Chicago, Illinois, St. Louis, Missouri. You need to say somewhere where it's a real black population there. Or really just say anywhere in the fucking United States at this point. Because there's no way in hell that y'all should be allowing these people to treat y'all like that. Hands down.
Okay, so I see a lot of people that have posted videos talking about racism in Italy. And I'm Italian. My husband is Caribbean. And I have to tell you my story that happened today. So I was going around with a pram and with my son. And it was raining a lot. So we sheltered inside there was an entrance close to a shop, so we sheltered there. My son is obviously mixed race because, as I said, I'm Italian and my husband is Caribbean. And there was a man there of a certain age which asked me if I got my son from a shelter, from foster care, pretty much, from foster home. And I looked at him like, what? Like that was something like that and has never happened to me. And I just wanted to share this story. I mean, I laughed, didn't take offense at that moment, but I know a lot of people would take offense. It's quite offensive. I know that the guy didn't say it to offend me or my son. He genuinely thought that he was not my son. But then I explained to him, like, no, he is my son, actually. And he was like, oh, like, is your husband Egyptian? It just kept getting worse and worse. And I was like, no, actually he's Caribbean. It was so embarrassing. So with this said, I'm like, Italy is still so backwards. Like, some people are literally, like, their mind is still so behind. And some people are racist and don't even do it on purpose. They just say things that are inappropriate. I'm so sorry for everybody that is experiencing that. And it's annoying sometimes as a mom and as a wife, because my husband also experienced that. And we have so many stories. But hey, there's also a lot of really respectful, nice people here that love people, all kinds of people. This doesn't matter their nationality, color, or anything. You know, we just love people. I'm Italian and I'm married to a Caribbean man. So, I mean, not everybody is racist. That's what I'm saying. God bless you. Love you.
Now, from that video, I think we can come to a conclusion that most of these people are kind of saying that while Italy is a good place that you'd want to visit, you must really be prepared for any racial attack that you may receive. It may be verbal, it may be physical, it may come in all different forms, but be prepared as a black person to face some form of racism. And this really hit me hard because I felt like, as human beings, is there really need for us to be racist? Because I think Europe has always come out to Africa and taught us that there are certain ideals that we should embrace. And that is why we have seen even some of them establishing their industries within our continent. But when it comes to racism, as those African Americans have shown, it really shows that the country has not fully evolved to embrace everybody as it should be. When I continued with my reading, I also found out that even finding houses for black people, especially the students that are planning to reside in Italy, it becomes very difficult because many of the real estate agents have always put up their houses and said that no foreigners, meaning that anybody who does not identify as an Italian, anybody who is not white, is not allowed to be rented such kind of spaces. So this really begs the question, is Italy really racist, or this is something that is just being said that does not hold water? But when I also went further, I came across one incident, and it is said that in 2016, a Nigerian man was killed. His name was Emmanuel Chidi. The guy was killed because he was protecting his wife, who was being harassed by a group of Italians who wanted some change from her. But then when the guy went to protect his wife, he ended up being killed, and his life just went away like that. Is it really worth the travel? Because if this is what we find in countries like Italy, countries that should be civilized, countries that should really be showing us direction on how we are supposed to live, given the manner in which they have projected themselves internationally, I think this really is not the right way that our continent or even our people should be treated, especially when you look at the number of resources that these European countries get from Africa and steal from Africa and continue to use them to develop their spaces. It is very necessary that also Africa find a way through which they can also institute measures to have their people protected, either when they travel to those countries, or because as a human being, I believe that we live in a globalized village and we must work towards embracing each other and have an ideal situation where we are not hating towards any other person. I think it is very important that as a traveler, when you're going to Italy, I think just to be safe, black people must be very careful when they are visiting this place, because while many have given a disclaimer that that was their personal experience and it is not representative of what Italy is, as a black person, I get to be afraid, because if someone has been killed because of just protecting his wife against harassment from some group of guys, this should not really be something that is taken lightly, regardless of the fact that authorities went ahead and did the right thing that they were supposed to do. It tells you how this society views people, how this society views black people, and therefore it is imperative upon anybody who wants to travel to Italy, especially a person who is black, to take care of himself, plan well, and have a guide that will ensure that wherever they are well informed of the characteristics of people within that region, and also they are able to immediately address any issue that may be challenging to them at all times. I don't know what you think about the topic. Please, if you're watching us for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and also share. Also remember to give us your comment in the comment section so that we may also know whether you've had this experience or it is something that people are just putting up against Italy. Thank you for watching till this end. Let's meet in our next video. Goodbye.